Okay, hello everyone. I am Bryan and this is some of the work that I've been doing with a number of people in this room. Oh, sorry. And so this is some stuff that I've been working on with a number of people that are, most of which are in this room, including, well, John's not here, but Chelsea, Kelly, Zhao, and Dawn. And so with the collections of data that we had over the last few years with the ones in Egypt and Morocco as well as the US, there's a lot of overlapping concepts that we have within each of these different data collections. So one of the things that we have done is, we can take and we can look and we can compare the fundamental sentiments. We can look at the equations in the US and then in Egypt and Morocco and be able to look at some differences. But one of the things that we can do is we can actually simulate, we can actually calculate actual events to where you have all the different potential events and the deflections that would be caused by these events across these different cultures by just taking these concepts and putting them together. And so that's what I am trying to get at with this piece. So basically how these expectations as far as are these things going to be likely or unlikely across especially different social institutions. So we can take, especially with Heise's new book and talking about institutions again and kind of coding them out into a new specific set. I took and started actually looking at this again with a question about within it, which institutions are going to be more consistent and which ones are going to be less consistent. So for this study, the full set of shared events includes 29,197,179 events. However, so this is every potential identity, behavior, and object, actor, behavior, and object that could potentially, or that we have shared between the three dictionaries. But using the new coding for institutions and the concepts that are actually shared across the different ways in which Heise analyzed and kind of clustered these identities, I ended up with a total set that I could compare presently of 847,691 across different institutions. Yeah, that's it, just 847,000. And so, yeah, thank you. So for a preliminary analysis, I just, because there's so many, a standard type of inferential test where you're trying to look at a p-value afterwards is going to do us absolutely no good just because there's so much data. So instead, I'm just mostly focusing on correlations of standardized deflection models because deflection based on which equations are being used might end up being higher or lower the range of it. So these are the most and the, these are the two institutions where we saw the most agreement and the most disagreement. Law was the one where we saw the lowest correlations between mostly including between Morocco and Egypt themselves. They were lower here, but especially the one between the United States study and between Egypt and Morocco. You ended up with correlations of about 0.38 and 0.422. And then the place where we see the most agreement is in medical identities, and where you had correlations between the US and Egypt and Morocco around 0.75, and in between Morocco and Egypt about 0.9. So a lot of agreement in the medical institution and not a lot in law. So the current takeaways in this, I just put up those two because there's a lot of information there. But the general takeaways and what I saw across all the institutions that I was able to code, we generally agree on the unlikelihood of events, with the lowest correlation, of course, being that 0.387, but most being even between the US and Egypt and Morocco of around 0.5, 0.6. So it's pretty high, pretty consistent. Lowest agreement in between US and Egypt and Morocco was law, religion, and polity. The highest was medicine, sport, family, and economics. And with that, I will stop for now. Thank you.